number 6 at Ascot. It is the Group 2 WA Guineas. An interesting race and one where I think a lot of the punters will be favouring the fillies at the moment.
Yeah, their form lines have reigned supreme, I think, throughout. The most eye-catching performances from gallopers like Perfect Reflection. We have a couple, or even 3 gallopers, one totally forgotten by the market, I'm sure we'll touch on. We were talking about Arcadia Dream and Blackwood have only been beaten a length and a half, 2 lengths by that galloper in recent times.
Now I know that they're going to focus on a lot of our conversation, so we're going to watch a replay of one of the boys, and we'll start with London Line, which is a strong winner, continued the good Ascot form up. Let's take a look at that victory now.
Straight at the 350, Who Dat Singer led the way from Key to Fame. Down the outside, London Line, Man Booker. Universal Law for the moment, struggling. 150 to go. London Line raced up, grabbed the lead from Who Dat Singer, Man Booker. On the inside, London Line from Man Booker. London Line holding on. London Line beat Man Booker.
Look, Jason Brown has just absolutely nailed it twice in a row on London Line. Just read it perfectly, taking that early 3-wide run and really splitting the field up. So he did it again, got the job done. Now this is another test because Man Booker, the stablemate, was 3 wide in that race and probably a better run on the day.
Which one of the boys do you prefer, just in general?
Probably the 2 Man Booker. I think it has the most scope. We don't know much about the 5 He's Our Rocker. We know it's established at the 1,600 metres over in Melbourne. Those form lines certainly will be good enough to compete here, but has drawn quite awkwardly.
Now let's talk about the fillies, because there's one that is certainly going to be backed, and that is number 15, Arcadia Dream. And I just don't feel like this horse is getting the credit it deserves at the moment. You take out Perfect Reflection. I know you can do that so many times in racing. We take out, Black Caviar, and all of a sudden Hayley starts winning everything, and go through the list of them all. But this horse, what she's doing is very, very good the way she attacks the line with no luck at all in running.
That's right. Look, she's finding problems, but I think from this wide barrier, they just have to be back and try and run home from last, which will not be easy, but the way she has been running, it's just had 1,600 metres all over her, and last start was brilliant behind the stablemate Perfect Reflection, and look, I think she's the one to beat, but I'm not overly confident.
William Pike's going to need to work a gem, but we know that he's called the Wizard for a reason. What about Showy Chloe? This, for mine, is the forgotten horse. Everybody seems to be just jumping off her. Carried the 57 to the Belgraver, carried the 58 in the Burgess Queen, gets the blinkers on, the 54.5, gets a gate as well. We saw her win by 4.8 lengths over 1,400 metres. I think she ticks a lot of boxes again.
Yeah, she does. The blinkers really help. I just go back to that Blackwood run in the Burgess Queen. Blackwood had her measure quite easily. It just depends how much that blinkers will help. She's just missed that run in between. So, look, she's not too far away, but I just prefer the other 2.
Give us a Maddie really quickly before we have a look at your selections.
Well, talking about it off air, the 16 Spirit Bird, I think this is quotes of up to $51, was beaten just under 2 3/4 lengths by Perfect Reflection. The same race as the 2 favourites, Blackwood and Arcadia Dream, coming from. Blinkers going on, Craig Williams on, barrier 4. It just gets better. How is this $51? I don't know.
They've got it wrong at the moment. I suggest it's very nice each way bet, but I haven't been able to get into my 4. We'll take a look at the selections now. And I'm going with number 13, Showy Chloe, from number 15, Arcadia Dream, number 14, Blackwood, and number 10, the Cobbler.
Yeah, popular 3 there. Number 15, Arcadia Dream, from 14, Blackwood, the 2 Man Booker, and number 13, Showy Chloe.
Race number 7 at Ascot. It is the Group 1 Winterbottom Stakes over the 1,200 metres, and it doesn't really need an introduction, does it?
No, it doesn't. We haven't seen a field size like this since, I think, 2005, which was won by Miss Andretti, the last 3-year-old to win that race. There's one 3-year-old in this race.
Is there a reason why you're referring to that?
Maybe, but we'll get to that a bit later. We've been impressed by so many gallopers. Rock Magic, probably the most impressive at its recent start in the Colonel Rees, Adam.
And we can also watch Waterman's Bay from this same run, which attacked the line strong. We know has a good record in the Winterbottom. So let's take a look at that run now.
Reeves and Scheidel gave Smoko the slip. She'd kicked a length and a half clear. Wobbled off the fence. Mad As has got the run through though. Here's Liberty's Gem, Waterman's Bay, and Rock Magic coming down the outside as well. Scheidel at the 100. Liberty's Gem joined it. Tackled by Waterman's Bay, Rock Magic. Waterman's Bay, Rock Magic. Rock Magic on the outside. I thought he might have got the bob in.
Yeah, drawn really well, Rock Magic. Doesn't have to sit last like it did in that race. And of course, Waterman's Bay was brilliant as well. So that is a form line we need to consider, but there are plenty others we need to take seriously as well.
Well, I want to ask you about number 1 Buffering, because this is the people's horse around Australia. And I was speaking, as I said, to some people over east who are following this horse closely.
Yeah.
They believe it should be $2. It's come to the West before. It's won the Winterbottom. The form line superior. Do you agree with them, or do you think it can be beaten?
Oh no, I take a little from both camps. The positives is this horse can run 108 for a 1200 metres and routinely runs in the 109s. When it won the Winterbottom, it ran 110. So it's somewhere on that level. We know how good he is, but I would just say he rarely gets to fourth up. He'll get to fourth up, but normally that run will peak. He did win the Winterbottom fourth up, but this is the run which is just a little bit on the edge. So look, I think he is probably the one to beat on class, but just a little bit cautious.
Two Cerise and White runners in this race, Shining Knight and Silverstream. Now, William Pike chose Shining Knight before the scratching came out. Damien Oliver takes Silverstream. I still think he's gone the right way. I think the first up record of Shining Knight speaks of itself. They're set for this race. Barrier 2, their speed in the race will be able to run on strongly. What's your thoughts about both of them and which way are you leaning?
Yeah, well, the 4 Shining Knight has that proven form line really in this race as well, but has always found the 1200 metres just a little bit too far. Much prefer it over 1,000, 1,100 metres, but there was no blinkers in the trial and you do get a great run fresh. The 17 Silverstream certainly, I think this is going to get the run of the race. The problem is it has to give 5 kilograms to Lucky Street for a short head victory over that galloper.
Well, I'll ask you about one more, Ruffy, before I do ask you about Lucky Street, because I can tell we're heading there. Dawn Approach, big odds at the moment. Is it worth a bet?
Made the comment during the week that of all the horses in this race, which one has run the best 1200 metre time at Ascot? It is Dawn Approach by a good margin as well. So it must be respected, because if this horse crosses and is back to its best form, it'll be very hard to catch because we know it can run time.
All right, you've given us a little introduction into this race about the 3-year-old. Lucky Street, Trevor Andrews, Sean McGruddy. Off you go.
Well, history rarely repeats. Horses get older, they have a limited span. Youth can be favoured, and Lucky Street has impressed to no end. Career low weight, its two 1200 metre runs have been first class. Last start winning by 3 lengths. Comes down to the 53.5. If this gets outside of buffering, I'm going with Youth in this race. I think Lucky Street can win.
All right, well, let's take a look at selections. I'm going to be tipping number 4, Shining Knight, from number 1, Buffering, number 2, Fast and Rocking, and number 3, Waterman's Bay.
16, Lucky Street, from 1, Buffering, the 5, Dawn Approach, and number 9, Liberty's Jam.
Race number 8, it is the Group 1 Railway Stakes over the 1,600 metres. And Ian, let's get straight into the replay so we can discuss some of these horses. Of course, we're going to look at Blackheart Bud. I'd almost say, and we'll get into it a little bit, the forgotten horse leading into this race now, but had won 3 in a row. Let's take a look at that victory now.
Down they dropped off Global Flirt. Warwick goes to work on Winkin and Nod, and Blackheart Bart Stokes up for his run. Fuchsia Bandana at the 200, tackled by Delicacy and Blackheart Bart. It's Delicacy going to the lead. Blackheart Bart gunning her down. Blackheart Bart reaches the lead from Delicacy. Magnificio, Blackheart Bart.
Just a brilliant horse, Blackheart Bart, isn't he? He just looks effortless. He looks like he's going slow, doesn't he? Just looks like he's going slow and just can pick up all before him. Held off Magnificio, which was a great performance. It's just going so well. The margins, though, long head and nose, neck. Hasn't won over 1,600 metres. Hasn't won above 1,400 metres. This is a real test because it is right up in the weights, and that will be a feat.
Delicacy or Real Love?
I think 3, Delicacy. She just has that X factor about her. The 5, Real Love, certainly has that as well. And it was a great win last start when probably a little bit underdone. Drawn a bit awkwardly, but you have to go with Pike every step of the way here. And I think Delicacy, has that raw talent. Hasn't carried this low weight since its debut.
We've seen the Peters form hold up in recent years. Hazabil, a horse that we know can roll to the front, is going to have to do that early, obviously, from the gate, but still a chance?
It is. I think this was a horse that was so pleased to see the lack of speed in this race. Last start got its own way. That's how Hazabil loves to race. But the problem is it doesn't have a lot of gate speed, so it will take a while to get there, but once it's there, if it clears out, it'll be very hard to run down.
Are people being risky riding off Winkin and Nod?
I think they are. I think dismiss that one run. You go back to the previous, I thought it had Blackheart's but measure for the most of that straight. So drawn awkwardly, however, will be well back in the field.
Eastern State form often can be caught out in the railway. Who do you prefer out of Messine and Good Project?
I think Good Project got a nightmare barrier. Look, it's a career low weight, Good Project by 2.5 kilograms. The draw's a bit awkward. And I just don't see where it can get into a position of control like it has at its best form, but certainly well weighted. The 2 Messine hasn't won for a long time, but this will get the run of the race, can sit close. We're talking form lines behind Winks, when Winks was carrying 54.5 kilograms and Messine was carrying 58.5 and was only beaten by, just under 3 lengths. So I think Messine can win this.
I've asked you for a Maddie in a couple of races. Who is it in this race?
Well, we've spoken off air. We must be mad because the 15 Tower of Lonhro is just tick, 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 tick.
I love it.
There's just so many positives for this gallop.
Yep.
It's going through pretty much the exact same winter form passage that Mr. Moet went through. Came and won a railway with Adam Durrant. Career low weight by 2 kilograms. Start 37 that will be. Its last start run, there were signs there. This horse is ready to go. It's a 99 rater carrying 53. I think Tower of Lonhro is a huge chance of winning this.
Don't tell too many people. I think this is the horse that can cause the upset. Let's get into the selections. I am going to be tipping number 3, Delicacy. I think her class was shown. From number 5, Real Love, but then my each way play on with it is Tower of Lonhro. I think this horse is massive overs at the moment. And number 2, Messine, which will get the run of the race.
I'm 2 Messine on top from number 15, Tower of Lonhro, the 11 Hazardbill, and number 3, Delicacy.
Final race of the day at Ascot is the listed Tattersalls Cup over the 2100 metres. A few horses coming out of similar races. And last start, Drive West showed that the Kalgoorlie form, the Belmont form, it all held up. It was a good winner over the 1800 metres, and we're going to take a look at that run now.
They're at the top of the straight. Young Lionel cruised up to Illuminated. At the 300 Illuminated, Young Lionel, who he goes to work on. They're together, 2 lengths. Drive West starting to pick up pretty well. Further back, Rebel Sun. Young Lionel tackled by Drive West. Drive West storms past Young Lionel. Then Rebel Sun running to third, but Drive West draws away. Drive West won the Ascot Gold Cup from Young Lionel.
Yeah, great ride by Ben Patterson. Got the job done. This horse is just now a professional and getting great consistency.
Weight a little bit of concern for Drive West, but the others that it's not, Rebel Sun and also Young Lionel, come out of that same race. Which way are you leaning out of those?
Thought Young Lionel had his chance. Rebel Sun looked a bit more progressive, but look, I just don't know this race, Adam. There's so many horses that can win on their day. I don't know where to go.
Kalgoorlie form then, and I'll ask you quickly, Mystic Prince, Ask Me Nicely, also operational. Those 3 we know are stayers. I really like Ask Me Nicely. When it normally drops down to a distance, it puts in a good run after when it steps back up.
You look at the run in the Peters, operational Ask Me Nicely hit the line very well. I think they're much the same, attack the line strongly, and they are a constant class gallopers, and I think you can't ignore them.
Open race?
So open.
Let's get into selections then. I'm going to be tipping number 4, Ask Me Nicely. From number 5, Young Lionel. Number 7, Dubai Escapade. And number 6, Drive West.
7 Dubai Escapade from 3 Rebel Sun. Number 10 Operational, and the 4 Ask Me Nicely.
And it's a cracking day of racing. Let's try to find some winners now for the best bets. I'm going to go with the first and the last. Lunar Eclipse in race number 1 and Ask Me Nicely in the raffle in the last.
Going head to head with you in the first with Flying Raw on top, and in race 7, number 16, Lucky Street.
A great day here in Perth, Super Saturday. Birds of Tokyo playing after the last as well, so encourage everybody to come out and then stay on after as well, of course. All social media you must follow on this day. Ian, good luck punting. Hopefully you found a couple of winners.
Indeed, you too. It's going to be a hard day, but that's what we love.
We look forward to seeing you out here in Ascot. We'll be back again next week with another edition of Box Seat.